New Orleans at New England. Some interesting pieces. It feels like New Orleans is moving the ball all over the place between the 20s, but can't punch it in. And it feels like New England are just disappointing across the board. Is there anything that you are looking at for this matchup as something to attack?
Yeah, I mean, both teams bottom 8 in total points scored. You can see on screen there. So the Saints average 15.5 points per game. It's not getting it done. That's why Chris Olave is having some okay weeks, but this offense hasn't really been fantasy viable. Derek Carr is the quarterback, 33 in points per game. Olave, wide receiver, 29. Michael Thomas, wide receiver, 43. Juwan Johnson is tight end, 37. He's had 5 targets in 3 games. Last year, he was averaging like a red zone target in 65% of games. This year, he's had 1. And it's just really disappointing to see this Saints offense, which has got some great weapons, just being quite mid, really. And that might even be a bit of a compliment. And then the Patriots, we were expecting Bill O'Brien to bring competency to this offense and help them take the next step. And it's not really played out that way. The Patriots are 19th in offensive DVOA. Ramondre Stevenson scoring 0.6 points per touch this year versus 0.9 points per touch in 2022. Last year, he was averaging 4 receptions per game. This year, that's down to 3.0 receptions per game. His rush yards per game has dropped from 61 down to 41. It's just not getting it done on any level. And Hunter Henry is probably the only player that you could start with real confidence. I mean, he's the tight end 7. Kendrick Bourne is the wide receiver 41. But this Saints team, their defense isn't as good as it should be, but they just have the ability to just suck the air out of a game and produce these low-scoring games. So I'm not really excited to start anyone. I think if you need to start Alvin Kamara, you can. I don't think he'll get 14 targets for 13 receptions and 33 yards again. But the Saints have so little competition that they seem happy with at running back. It looks like it will be the Alvin Kamara show. Last week's report from Ian Rappaport about how Zeke was going to get starter reps was nonsense from the moment it was put out there. It was just agent fluff. And I hope nobody paid any attention to it. It was deep in the first quarter before Zeke got his first snap. And, if you need to start Ramondre, you need to start Ramondre, but don't be expecting big scores from anyone in this game.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing with New Orleans is going to be how good is Derek Carr's shoulder, because we saw last week, you said Alvin Kamara getting 14 targets. To me, that's a direct link to Derek Carr's shoulder being an issue and him not having the ability to push the ball down the field. If he is, that shoulder is healed up, are we going to start to see him connecting on some of these deep shots with Chris Olave? Because it feels like they're close. We see on the screen an obscene amount of air yards, an obscene amount of unrealized air yards. And hopefully he's going to start reeling in some of those catches and we can start turning those air yards into real receiving yards.